Okay, hi, good day everyone. I'm Bankole Akinfolarin, and this is coming from Bank of Opportunities. We run a community service-based organization to help people connect people with different global opportunities and offers in different places, and also build capacity. Human capacity building is our heartbeat. Okay, so in the first video I've talked about how to apply for scholarships and win one. What are the things and the tips you need to win a scholarship? So if you don't have that video yet, you might need to check for that first edition. This is the second edition of that video, all right? Because you will need it too to have the complete knowledge, to have the complete information about this. So do not jettison the part A and focus on part B. Do not focus on part B and jettison part A. The two parts are equally important. So I encourage you to look for that first part. I talked about things, and tips on how to win scholarships. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the essay parts, the essay structure. Some scholarships require that you write an essay, which is very significant. We've said that in the first video also, how important the essays are in your applications if you're required to write one. So I'm going to be talking about the structure of your essay. How does your essay look? What approach you put in place? How do you structure your essay to help you deliver something better? So basically, just like a normal essay, you have the introduction, you have the body, and you have the conclusion, which each level has contents. Each level has things you are expected to reflect on. You know, from the introduction, generally people start writing scholarship letters by telling the, writing their names. So I'm so I'm Bankole Akinfolarin from so country. I'm writing this letter to apply for this scholarship application and all that. Those are some of the general ways people start off their scholarship letter. But you don't have to anyway. There are different formats for that. So you may want to start off your letter with an experience you had some time ago, that made you understand that, look, it's important to have global, to take advantage of global opportunities like scholarships that are available right now, because scholarships are like open doors. If you get one, you enter into it. From that door, another door opens, So your understanding and perspective of scholarships, you can use it to start your scholarship letter. It doesn't necessarily have to be, my name is so. Of course, you can. There are different formats for the introduction. But keep in mind that the introduction is one of the first best ways to sell yourself to the scholarship board members that are going to be accessing your essay. Don't be careless with your introduction. So the introduction is very significant. Put your best in profiling yourself in your introduction. You want to prove to them that you have leadership capacity. You want to prove to them that you are worth investing in. You want to let them know, you want to let them know what prompted you, how you came about the scholarship thing that you want to apply for. So you want to really profile yourself in that paragraph, in the introductory part of your essay. So don't just write something shabby or wishy-washy. All right? So take note of that. Very importantly, so make your introduction very catchy. Talk about your passion. What are the things you're passionate about? Talk about your interest. What are you interested in? Right? Talk about them. And remember, in the first video, the first point I said is you have to be thorough. Research thoroughly. Make thorough research. Okay? So in making thorough research also means that you will have made research about the scholarship board. For instance, if you were to be applying for, let's say, Holland Scholarship, for instance, offered by the Dutch government in the Netherlands. So if you're applying for that scholarship, for instance, then normally you should know what the Holland Scholarship goals and aims are. What are the aims and goals of the government establishing that kind of scholarship? What are they? That helps you to structure your own hobbies, your own interests, and your own passion to what they have as their own goal. So there's a synergy, there's an alignment. So you are not writing about this while the scholarship board is aiming at this. That's a minus. It's a knockout in your introduction. If your goals and your passions are not in alignment with the goals and mission of the scholarship board, that is a minus. Take note of that. So your goals, your passions must align with that of the scholarship board. So make research. What are their goals? What are their interests? Then it helps you to structure out a synergy. All right? So take note of that. Very important in the introduction. Then in the body, basically standard essays have like 3 paragraphs, minimum of 3 paragraphs in the body. So you can structure your points in 3 paragraphs minimum. Averagely, it can be more than 3 paragraphs, but averagely standard essays have 5 paragraphs. Paragraph 1 is your introduction. Paragraph 2 is your first point, which is the body. Paragraph 3, your second point. Paragraph 4, third point. And then paragraph 5, your conclusion. Right? So your body must not have less than 3 paragraphs as a standard essay, for instance. Also keep in mind that scholarship essays have word limits. Most times 500, not more than 500 words. At times not more than 1,000 words. So look for a way to be sure that you push out the important points and edit as much as possible to knock off less important points, especially if you are struggling to catch up with the, you're struggling to put a lot of things together within the word limit. 300, in fact, some could be as low as 300 words, not more than 300 words, some 500 words, some 1,000 words. So keep that in mind, that there is word limit to scholarship essays also, and you want to work around that. You don't want to beat it. In fact, one major mistake you can make is to write beyond the word limit. They won't even read it. It's a knockout. Don't forget that scholarship applications are competitive, so they are looking for different people that will flout the rules. Just like playing the game of football, and then the referee will not be joking at people committing fouls. He has to call them back to order by giving them either yellow or red card. If the foul is excessively aggressive, then gives them a red card, then they get out of the game. Right? If it is not too aggressive, it is less aggressive, they get a yellow as a warning. Be careful. So when you're writing your essay, you either get a yellow or red. Those yellows are the warning signals. Okay, where you made mistake, okay, you can still pardon, It's an assessment, they're assessing your essay and all that. But there are some things that when you say it is a knockout, it's a red card. It's red card, it's red. For instance, if you are not really making any sense from the introduction, it's a knockout, it's a red card. They won't read further. Your application ends there. They won't read further. That's red card. First impression lasts longer right from the introduction. So in the body, generally in 3 paragraphs. Paragraph 1, your first point. Paragraph 2, second point. Paragraph 3, third point. And what are the things you need to address in this body, in the body paragraphs? The body must be arranged in paragraphs. Don't forget that. Don't just put all your points together in one paragraph. No, it's going to be muddled up. And they are struggling to catch up with what exactly you're trying to say per time, and then they can't figure out exactly what is going on in this essay. So structure out your points in paragraphs. Each paragraph must have a topic sentence. So what is the major thing you want to tell them in that paragraph? That should form your topic sentence. All right? And then you explain further. So what are the things your body paragraphs must contain? What are the questions your body paragraphs must answer? Number one is your career goals. What are your career goals? You must be able to tell them your career goals in your body paragraphs. Number two, you must be able to tell them why you have chosen that discipline, that course. Why? Why did you choose engineering? Why did you choose mechanical engineering and not electrical electronics engineering? Why? Why did you prefer medicine and not nursing? Why did you prefer to apply for geophysics and not geoformatics, for instance? So, why have you applied for that course and not another one? You must be able to convince them. So that still reflects your interest. What is of interest to you in that course above every other course? So you must be able to drive that home. All right? I've seen different letters that some people have written, nursing motivation letters and all that. Oh, some people will say, oh, right from my childhood, I've always loved to attend to people. I love to help people. I love the sight of blood. I just like to see people healthy and all that. That's not enough to convince anybody. Anybody could say that. That's not enough to convince nobody. Anybody could say that. So come out clear. What is your biggest passion? Why have you chosen that course and not another one? And another of it is, why have you chosen that country too and that university? Okay, I'll still get to that. So number two is, why did you choose that that course? Then the next thing is, how can you achieve your educational goal through the scholarship you're applying for? How do you want to achieve your goals through this scholarship? Explain. For instance, if you're applying for international business and innovation, maybe masters or bachelor's international business and innovation. What are your goals? What are your educational goals? What are your professional goals? What are the things you have in mind to use the scholarship to achieve? And one of them could be that, okay, after your program, when you're done, you want to peradventure establish an international business in logistics, for instance, and your long-term goal for the logistics business is to cut across the western part of Africa, for instance, so that will be the leading logistics firm in Western Africa, solving the problem of, let's say, untimely delivery of goods and services, for instance. So you have been specific. There's no vagueness in what you're. So it means that is coming from a depth of understanding and research that you've researched into different logistics industries. Companies that are operating, and then you have seen that as a deficient area, that goods are not delivered on time, some missing, some mishandled, rough handled, and all that. Now you're coming in to solve that problem with yours. And then the scholarship you apply for gives you the opportunity to acquire the best education, to acquire the best knowledge for that business, because the people you will be meeting through the scholarship are not people you will have met if you were to sponsor yourself on that education, because you don't have the finance. So you can imagine that that's a convincing point. You don't have the money that could take you to that school to study. That's why you're applying for the scholarship, because the scholarship will it's going to shoot you up to meet people that normally you wouldn't have met. So it's going to affect your connections, your networks, your net worth. It's going to build up your capacity. It's going to change your perspectives, because the people you meet have a way of shaping and changing your mindset. And also your environment has a way of exposing you, has a way of getting you out of the cage in your mind, because a lot of people are in the cage in their minds. Right? So these are some of the valid points you can put together in your essay. Okay? And of course, The end result is that you're solving a problem in the society after your program, and then it's a win-win for the scholarship board. They'll be happy to see you operate at that level later on. No, you are their product. They invested in you. You went into the factory, which is the school. Now you came out as a product. They're proud of the product they're seeing. People are buying the product. They're buying you. They're buying what you're doing. So you can imagine that. That's good investment. Every investor will be happy at that kind of thing. You've gone through the factory, which is the school. Now you have come out as a brand new product with your business that is helping people, solving problems. Okay? So, what is the next question your body has to address? Why did you choose the university you chose? Why? Why did you choose the University of Amsterdam, for instance? Why did you choose the University of Madrid in Spain? Why did you choose Florida University? Why did you choose Adelaide University in Australia? No. Why did you choose Queensland University in Australia? No. Why? Why did you choose that school? Why? Why did you choose that school and not another school? Why did you choose the University of Krakow in Poland and not another school in Poland or in Canada? Why did you choose the University of Waterloo in Canada? Why did you choose Cape Breton University in Canada? Why did you choose University of British Columbia in Canada and not the University of Sunderland? Sunderland University in the UK or Westminster University in the UK. There are many of them. So why did you decide to settle with this school and not another one? You must be able to establish that. And that will come from research. You have made research that this particular school you're applying to does it better when it comes to logistics. And because they have professional license with logistics companies across the world, so that logistics graduates find it very easy to start up a logistics firm, because the department gives them a soft landing after graduation because of the partnerships that department already has with international logistics companies in different parts of the world. That's a solid point. Don't just say, because it's one of the best universities in the world and I really like the school. Why? That's vague. It's so generic. It makes no difference at all. It makes no sense. So be specific. All right? So why did you decide to apply for the conference, for the seminar, for the scholarship, for the internship? Why? Why did you apply? Why? Tell them why. Then how can the scholarship help you achieve your goals? How? So you see, all these things are intertwined. How can the scholarship help you to achieve your goals? You have no finance. Definitely you wouldn't have achieved, you wouldn't be able to achieve your goals if you were to be a self-sponsored student. But now you're applying for a scholarship to go for that conference. That helps you to meet people and connect with people globally, and that helps you both, it helps you in terms of capacity building and in terms of also the connections you have, the exposure you get and all that. Traveling itself is education for people who don't know that. Traveling itself is education. I know that and I can testify to that. I've been to like 13, 14 countries. I know what it means. Traveling itself is education, apart from having to be studied or schooled in the four walls of the classroom. That is formal education, but you get an informal part of education traveling. You can have professor of migration lecturing in the university, for instance, if that department ever exists. Department of Migration professor of migration in the university. But if he has not traveled before, what he'll be teaching in class are theories. That's all. Now, the first day he gets to the airport to make his first trip is an illiterate, though he's a professor in the class. But at the airport, he's an illiterate. He begins to ask questions. Oh, how do you do this? Oh, how do you do this? Where do you do this? Where do you do that? Because there are a lot of things that will not be covered in the book. but you get it on the field when you're practicing. So that's what traveling does for you. I mean, I can't overemphasize the benefits of making trips, applying for conferences, summits and all that. Because some people some people just, they are just looking for opportunities to make money. And no, it's not about money. Look for opportunities, right? Then in your conclusion, the major thing you are doing in your conclusion is to rephrase your introductory statements, paraphrase your introduction. That should be your conclusion. It's simple. You don't need to start thinking and bringing some external elements again in your conclusion. You have expressed yourself already in your essay, so conclusion is not something difficult. You are only trying to remind them what you have said earlier in your introduction. So paraphrase your introduction, rephrase your introductory statement, and when you are concluding. And most importantly, do not forget to thank them. Salutation, salute them, thank them, very important, thank them. Don't ever forget to thank them. It is critical. And in your conclusion, summarize your points, express your gratitude to the reader for reading your essay. So I've just summarized what you need to do in your conclusion. Number one is you summarize your key points. That is, you rephrase your introduction. Then number two, express gratitude to the reader for reading your essay. Okay? So, those are the basic things as far as the structure of your essay is concerned. Then, I'll talk about this. What are the important points to keep in mind again? Important points to keep in mind again. Important points that you need to keep in mind again. Keep in mind that your introduction has to be on point and on target, no stories. Drive home your point, sell yourself, market yourself as much as possible. Provide relevant background about for the topic you are expected to write on. Provide relevant background for the topic. A topic might say, write a 500 word essay about why you think you are the best fit for this scholarship. That's the question. That's the topic. Why do you think you are the best fit for this scholarship? Or why do you think your career goals match up with the demands and the details of this scholarship? Those are the questions. So give a background on the question or on the topic, right? Provide relevant information only, because don't forget you have word limits. So you don't have all the time to explain everything. Just keep to the main points. Make it a worthwhile read, and also do not repeat your words. Repetition it could be a knockout too. So don't repeat your words. It can get boring. So avoid repetition as much as possible. Okay? You don't have to do anything. Okay? You don't have to do anything about the body of the word limits of your essay. You don't have to do anything about the word limit of your essay, all right? That will be determined by the scholarship board, okay? So don't worry about that. Just check the requirements. It will definitely be stated. And if it is not stated, it means there's no word limit. Then you can go as much as you can. But most of the times, like 95% or even 98%, there is always a specific word count. 500, 300 words, between 300 words to 1,500. There are times that it could be 1,500 words. So it all depends. But be sure you are strictly in adherence to the word count. They take it very seriously. All right? Don't write too little and don't write too much. Just stay safe. If you have to write 500 words, don't write 200 words and that's all. well, if your 200 words is solid, you know, if it's solid, but there are some people that would take some mastery of writing for you to be able to write something solid and convince them in 200 words. That would really take that you are a good writer. But most times people need more words to prove more points. That's why 500 words will not even be enough to really express yourself, but stay within the word count. So don't let it be too little or too much. Okay? So take note of that. Then finally, I'll quickly talk about the formatting of your essay. How does your essay look on the Word document? How does it look? The formatting is important. Always use Times New Roman. That is a standard font anywhere. That is a standard academic font anywhere. Times New Roman is the standard academic font anywhere. Take note of that. So always use Times New Roman as the font, and always use 12 point as a font size. 12 as a font size, so that the characters are not too small and they're not too big. Have really 12 points. So these are just the standard basic things as far as essays are concerned. Times New Roman font, 12 font size, then double space lines, not single, they get to modeled up. So double spaced, you double space your essay. Then also you indent the first words of each paragraph. So I want to believe you already know that anyway, that each paragraph, the first word of each paragraph is to be indented. Indented means it has to be shifted to the left, shifted to the right rather. You shift it to the right. The first word of every paragraph has to be indented. So that's just the normal thing. Then save it in a PDF document. All right, save it in a PDF document. You don't want to submit your scholarship essay. You don't want to submit your scholarship essay in a Word format. A lot of things can happen to it in the process. Can get disorganized. It can get something can be mistakenly added to read. Maybe a letter has been added to read by mistake, and then you never knew and all that. But if it's a PDF, it's just safe like that. So don't forget to convert it to a PDF document and submit PDF and PDF only. Do not submit both Word document and PDF document. Submit only the PDF document. All right. So that brings us to the end of this information sharing training today. Oh, I really want to believe that you've been able to get one or two things from this essay. From this video. Okay. So for the sake of those who are just watching right now, we have made the first part of this video, so this is the second part. So you do yourself some good by looking up our platform to get the first part of this video. That gives you a complete picture of what we've talked about thus far, right? Okay. If you have any other question, maybe you want some clarifications from us, you can get across to us on any of our platforms. Absolutely, yeah. You can get across to us on any of our platforms. We really wish you the best. Explore, explore, explore. And our counsel to you once again is that you explore. Once again, I'm Bankole Akinfolarin. All right? Have a nice day. Bye.